Hi everyone. Today I want to share with you a few glimpses of a chassid that lived in the past generation in order to sort of see a different way of looking at life. These were told by Rabbi Chaim Shalom Deitch, who is the Rosh Kollel in Yerushalayim in the Tzemel Tzedek Shul. So he gives a shir in Chassidus, and you could actually find them online. And these shirim were given during the time when he was teaching Kuntras Avoda, the famous mimer from the Rebbe Rashab about Avodas Hashem. Over there, he started talking about a chassid by the name of Rabbi Moshe Alperovitch. Now, this Rabbi Moshe lived in Europe initially. He actually learned in Tamchet Tamimim, and he was a sheikhet. He came to Eretz Yisrael, and the story, one of the first stories that he was talking about was one time when he was a sheikhet. He actually, on Erev, as we know, in Erev Yom Kippur, people do kaparas. So they would go then to the sheikhet in order to shech the chickens. And he saw that there was a huge line in front of his house. So he was wondering, what about the other sheikhet in town? Why is everyone by me? So he went and he snuck out of his house and he went to take a look at what was going on by the other sheikhet. And he saw no one was there. At that moment, he realized that he was taking away the parnasa, the livelihood of this other sheikhet. And he decreed upon himself, he's no longer going to be a sheikhet. It's an amazing thing. He just decided, that's it, no more. So he had to make a living. And so he started working for the Dead Sea Works. The people that he worked with, however, were very often they would speak all different types of not nice things, and they spoke things that a chassid really wouldn't want to hear. And especially the Rabbi Deitch was discussing the idea of hearing. I guess that's how this came up in his shir, in his class, and how a person has to be very careful about not only what he speaks, but also what he's listening to. So this Reb Moshe was working in the Dead Sea Works with all these people that were talking all different types of nonsense. And he davened to Hashem. He said, Hashem, please make me deaf, that I shouldn't hear any of this stuff. Sometime right after that, a huge stone fell, and it dropped and it made a whole echo. And it turned out that he became hard of hearing, to the extent that anyone that was near him that wanted to talk to him had to speak very, very loud, unless he spoke something of Kedusha. Now, Rabbi Deitch himself said that when he was a bacher in yeshiva in Bnei Brak, this Rabbi Moshe used to go back to his daughter's house, lived in Bnei Brak, and he would see him standing far away from the Torah reading, and that he could hear every single word. But when anyone came near him and he wanted to speak to him in general, he literally couldn't hear. Isn't that an amazing thing? Now, his son talks about how every week he would just bring with him bread, and that would be his food for the whole week. He would go away for the whole week, and he would survive on bread and water every single day. That's all he would eat, and he was very satisfied with that, and that's all he did. One other point that I wanted to tell you was when the people, the executives in the Dead Sea Works, saw what a good worker he was, they said, we have to give this person a promotion, and we want to make him a much more of an executive level person. So they told him they were going to give him more money, and he said, no, thank you. He doesn't want to do that. He said, why? How come? He said, here, when I work with my hands, I spend the whole day thinking Torah. But if you're going to give me the job that you're offering me, so then what's going to be with my Torah? I'm going to have to invest myself completely in that. So, well, thank you. I'm happy with what I have. These are a few ideas of a chassid that lived in the previous generation. Just to add to it, one more thing. My person that I was close to and that definitely had a big influence in my life was a chassid by the name of Rav Moshe Weber, whose yortzeit was this past Shabbos. And just to tell you one story about him, he grew up between the two wars in Yerushalayim, in Mea Shearim, and later on he became a big chassid, Alperovitch chassid, and very, very special person who influenced many people, and there are many, many, many stories about him. But I just want to share with you one story. The story goes that unfortunately when he was very young, his father passed away, and his mother obviously took care of him. So food at that time was very hard to come by. And one day his mother gave him an apple to take with him to school. So he came home from school and he told his mother that my friend really wanted to have a piece of the apple. He really wanted the apple. So you know what I did? He was so excited. I split the apple in half and I gave half to him and I ate half. And his mother smiled at him and said, that's very nice. But next time, give your friend the whole apple. If he wants it, why do you need an apple so badly? And that was a lesson that he lived with for the rest of his life. He was a person that was always giving of himself in a way that it's hard to say that we see so commonly in our generation or maybe in other generations. But I could tell you he definitely had a major influence on my life, and I just wanted to share that with you, I should say. Have a wonderful Shabbos.